And this is a little bit of a throwback series as well, because I don't know if you remember this, but Bunny used to be on CJ Entus back in the day, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe RagnaroK was on CJ Entus back in the day as well.
Yes, indeed they were. Back in the days of Pro League, where I was overwhelmed because there was so many pros, I didn't know who was who. Um, but yeah, you're right. It's going to be a bit of a CJ throwback. So these players, they would have been in the team house together. They would have, slept at 8 together, talked about strategy and builds. So interesting to see. It was such a long time ago, but how will that affect their kind of influence of strategy in this game? In this series?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like between a lot of these players, they have a lot of history between each other. And I mean, that was a lot of years ago now, to be fair, so will that really have much of an impact? I mean, I'm sure they're good friends, they know each other well, and oh boy, this is going to be a wild best of 5.
Wild best of 5 indeed, as we see like this first player spawning in the top right position. It is the Terran player. Used to represent CJ Entus, is now representing Team NV. It is Bunny.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hardwire ALE, we have also his old teammate, used to represent CJ Entus, but now representing Alpha X. Oh, going for a gas first. Oh my god. It is RagnaroK. I love this man. Oh my god.
He's not boring, that's for sure. Yeah, gas. Ooh, and light. Normally, yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I don't want to say it would be a Ling Vein bus. Gas first is normally indicative of either a fast Ling speed, or pretty committed roach pressure. But we see here, yeah, it could even be a bit of mind gaming going on, as we saw earlier. We just have to see what unfolds from here.
Mate, who am I casting with? I'm casting with the Oceania Roach King, mate. I would assume that you can smell this coming a mile away. This has to be Roaches, right? There's no way he Ling Bane's Bunny. Question mark?
Oh, I've seen 3 do it before, as we see that lava's banked up, so it looks like he does have a plan, just one set of things just to keep the lava still flowing, but he's taken off gas now. Could this just be a kind of an aggressive build to catch off guard the natural? But he's only making 1 pair of lanes.
He is only he is only making 1 pair of lings. We do have an SCV scout. The SCV, spots the timing of the hatchery, recognizes, hold on, this is not a hatch first, so he knows about the pool timing relatively. He doesn't know about the gas timing though, and he pulls back into gas, mate.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe he just kind of pulled off because he saw the SCV was scouting with his first Overlord. Bunny, with this positioning, it looks like he wants to sack the SCV back in and see what's going on. But the presence of gas, it tells us, like, is it going to be a Baneling nest, or is it going to be a Roach Roar, or even like a fast lair for a Nidus? Like, who knows? But he's actually taken back off gas again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the SCV is looking to dip back in here. The denial is real, though. The Lings, they do get a snipe on that SCV, so now Bunny's in the dark in regards to whether there's Roach Warren, how much gas is being mined as well. And I'm also curious, RagnaroK, he's got a decent amount of gas. What is all this for?
Yeah, no, maybe it was just to kind of psych his opponent out and psych the casters out too, as the Reaper comes in after being quite defensive, and unfortunately it may get sniped from these Lings. And yeah, this is even worse for Bunny because he's still in the dark, as we see.
Yeah?
Real speed.
I love it. I love it. He's using it for something. And you were talking about it, mind games right now. Look at the vision of Bunny. Like the way that he had to keep his Reaper at home, his Marines at home. He is playing so scared right now. For all he knows, I'm sure in the back of his mind, Roaches, like something like that, right? That something could be coming his way. But he is still going for a faster TC. Like, he is still keeping his head on his shoulder. He's not being thrown off too much.
No, he's not. He's going for a Banshee, which is a really good kind of play when you're not sure what's going on. It kind of allows you can be defensive with it. You can also be aggressive if there is no need to be defensive. So it's a very versatile unit. But seeing this Overlord speed, I think Bunny's first is gonna be like, what the hell, and second he's gonna think, okay, good thing I went 3cc, because actually quite a good position for Bunny now, if you look at all things considered.
Yeah, I'm sure he shook his head for a moment there, like, the hell are you doing, mate? What the hell is going on? Oh god, so the gas was put to use. In the end, we are going to return to normalcy here. As you were saying, Bunny is in a pretty good position here with his opener. He didn't overreact to any kind of defense from being in the dark. And this Banshee could do a lot across the map here. But again, thankfully, RagnaroK also scattered everything. He knows the position he's in, that economically maybe not in as good of a position as he would have liked to have been.
Yeah, that's it. And actually, if you look at the creep spread from RagnaroK, it's not too shabby. And that's just because these Hellions have been forced to keep home because they're just not aware what's going on. Lost the scouting SCV, lost the Reaper. But yeah, even the Overlord spread is quite decent, as we see the Banshee on the right hand side. I think it got scouted by the Overlord. It looks like, yeah, the Queen's coming into position. Spore Crawler, good position as well. And I still want to say this situation kind of favors Bunny as he's about to land his third command center, but RagnaroK, he's playing quite well. He's yet to lose a drone.
Yeah, definitely. It's just a weird start to the game. it's just a weird game overall. We are all veering onto the same track though, as you were saying, like Bunny, everything's looking quite solid for him. Unfortunately, because of the opener, it does mean that RagnaroK's creep spread has gone unhindered, so he does have that going here for him, going into the mid game as well. It's going to be a little bit easier to defend against these initial pushes here. Speaking of, Hellions for Bunny are now moving back out onto creep. But yeah, RagnaroK should be fine, and I wonder where he's going to go here, as he is working on his lair. If he decides to stick with Ling Bane, if he decides to mix in the mutas.
Yeah, this kind of playstyle RagnaroK's going for, it's very kind of indicative of knowing, playing against 3CC, you get your upgrades before your lair really, and then you get the Banes afterwards. But yeah, it looks like just be careful with these Hellions on the map. But he's making quite a few Zerglings, and that may be in preparation for the 7-minute tank push. But the fact these Hellions are still alive,
man, he catches the Marines in the middle of the map. I was gonna say he's still making links, by the way. He's gonna hit with +1. +1 is gonna finish in a couple of seconds, so a really interesting timing here for RagnaroK. But okay, he does get forced back for the time being.
Yeah, as we see Bane speed being started up, a good catch does delay this push and slow it down quite a bit, but it looks like Widowmines will be the unit of choice here, as both players are going to have 1-1s. Their timing's not going to be super effective, but these Marines and Hellbats, they're here to attack.
Oh, they are. I mean, well, we do have a Widowmine in the back line. Bailing speed is nowhere near being done. How good are the bailing conditions going to be so far? Pretty good. Oh, even forces the unburrow on those Widowmines.
Yeah, actually snipes the Widowmines, and Bunny's going to be forced to back up. No combat shields yet. And RagnaroK holds, and he's making 11 drones right away.
Yeah, he's just droning up behind this. 2-2 is on the way. He goes for a bit of a Ling run by as well. There are Marines to stop him, but again, no tanks in position, and we just see a full surround on these Marines.
Yeah, and this is crazy, pushing in here, a bit of carnage going on in Bunny's bases, and RagnaroK, he doesn't have the hugest army, but he's being very aggressive in keeping Bunny back. But now, when you trade out that army, you're going to need to replace it, as RagnaroK's Banes look kind of cool. Where were they? Yeah, they look like dinosaurs. Sorry. But yeah,
okay, buddy?
Yeah, they look like Stegosaurus.
Yeah, we'll see if they're gonna be enough here. As we do see Bunny coming in for a second wave. Oh, not enough engine for transfuse. 2-3 queens go down. Up.
Yeah, look at those Widowmines, like really good spread for Bunny, and RagnaroK, he does have a really good Bane, Baneling and mount, but that one Widowmine hit can change all of that and swing the momentum to Bunny's side.
Oh, it really can. Bunny, he has a pretty solid position here with his minefield. A lot of the mines were able to survive that initial wave. Meanwhile, we just still have pure Ling Bane coming out for RagnaroK. Macro hatches being thrown down. Another base towards the bottom right-hand side as well. It's just nothing but Ling Bane, and as long as the creep spread is looking good, RagnaroK should be okay.
Yeah, that's right. And just look at that map. Like, there's a reason like RagnaroK hasn't taken out these rocks. Like, just between the fourth and the fourth of RagnaroK and the third of Bunny. Like, that's all that's kind of keeping them from, just being right on top of each other, as we see an expanding pattern. Oh. 6 drones going down at the fourth base, and a drop from the main to distract, and Bunny's just multitasking really well.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw, mate, but RagnaroK was able to snipe a full medevac here at his third base. Meanwhile, at the same time, the main army is pushing on forward. We do have a couple of Widowmines, but mate, only 2? Up! Oh my god.
uh,
I didn't want to look
oh.
that. Widowmines
If you
do
don't
go
look,
up.
it doesn't happen.
True, true. Meanwhile, a couple more Widowmines are going to be going up. Oh my god. On those Lings, but RagnaroK has the momentum. He wants to try and get on top of this army. Unfortunately, there is a full wall of depots. We have Liberators as well, but the Banelings don't care.
Yeah, that's so many units. Like, just look at all streaming forward. The depot wall is compromised, and Bunny's even supply block, but he won't be for long as Bane's connected with the SCVs. Do they? The Widowmine does.
The Widowmine friendly fire for nada. That Widowmine eventually. No, this will not be cleaned up. The wave of Ling Bane, it just keeps on coming in. The Banelings find more connections here. Bunny trying his hardest to hold on at his natural base, but the third is no longer there.
The poor Liberator trying to hold on to something that's not there anymore. Let it go, bro. It's not worth it. But, yeah, RagnaroK is going to be deflected, but 16 SCVs going down, right? And RagnaroK's a healthy 81 drones with infestation hidden away.
Exactly, mate. He's ready to go straight into that hive. Hydrogen is thrown down as well, so it looks like Ling Bane into Hydro Lurker is the name of the game here for RagnaroK, but does he even need it? Because Bunny is so committed now. He's down in workers, he's down in supply. He has to make something happen.
Yeah, he does have that 4th base finish, and he's getting a planetary, so it's not complete dire straits, but after sustaining the economic damage, you do want to try and get some done of your own, but RagnaroK is just going to push this back. Hydra's coming to support, more Lings in the way, and with that, RagnaroK takes a very commanding position in game number 1 here.
Yeah, he really does, mate. He deflects that push, and that was basically Bunny's Hail Mary play, trying to break this 4th base location. But the drone count has been untouched. We have 85 workers here for RagnaroK. He is free to do whatever he wants now. Free to tech up. Hive is on the way. He can rebuild his Ling Bane. Breaking a Zerg player like this, it's so difficult to make it work. Bunny can try, and it looks like he wants to go for some multi-prong harassment, and maybe he could make something happen that way, but RagnaroK, he's already like pre-split. He's already set up.
Yeah, and this is where the map kind of comes into question here, right? As we see, you know, Hardwire, it's kind of a tale of the left and the right side. Both players kind of securing the, you know, the immediate 4 or 5 bases for them. But if you're behind heading into the late game, you kind of uphill battle to kind of climb back into it, because your opponent's going to have the positions they need to really like get the advantage. So Bunny, being aggressive, doesn't want to let RagnaroK just sit back and expand and creep up. But we see a huge kind of flank from behind.
Oh my god, the mass surround comes in. The mass Ling Bane, the swarm of RagnaroK overwhelms everything that Bunny has, and once again he's just ready to go across the map. Still doesn't even have lurkers, by the way, but again, he may not even need them. Widowmine shots are going to be going off. Some decent connections going on here, but we need more than that.
Yeah, I think the Hydras don't have Hydra speed just yet, but I'd love to see some Banelings run into that cluster of drop depots in the natural wall, as RagnaroK is coming in on 94 drones. There's Widowmines too, but I think that's just so many units, and Bunny, it's getting pushed back, and the wave of Zerg is not stopping.
It's not stopping. GG gets called, and RagnaroK will take the first game in this series. But hey, it's still best of 5.
It is indeed. Like, we've got a minimum 2 more games, hopefully more on the way. But yeah, just kind of a strong showing there from RagnaroK. Bunny had some really good multitasking, but that's the thing about StarCraft, right? Like, you can add lots of little intricacies to your play, but if you take an engagement and you just lose the momentum, then it doesn't really matter so much, as we saw RagnaroK just droned up and just massed the Ling Bane, and Bunny just couldn't keep up and lost his third as a result. So really strong game from
yeah. Very strong, and we'll see if he can keep up the momentum here. It was a strong game, but it was also a really quirky game as well, right? Like, the opener was so wild. It was so off tempo as well. Like, I can't imagine being Bunny playing out that game. Like, he still stood strong with his build, don't get me wrong, but like, I would have been uncomfortable. Like,
yeah, that's it. Going to Curious Minds now too, which it's not the smallest map in the pool, but it's so open and so easy to spread creep on. So I want to give RagnaroK a slight advantage going to this map. But Bunny, you know, we've seen Terrans execute 2 base builds. There are some really good tank spots, but we'll have to see how the game unfolds.
we will, as we are loading into game numero dos, mate, number 2 in this TvZ, in this upper qualifying match.
Up For indeed, as we see spawning in the upper left, it is going to be the Terran player from South Korea representing Team NV. Give it up for Bunny.
And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Curious Minds ALE, we have the mad scientist himself, the man with the biggest brain in all of South Korea, representing Alpha X. It is RagnaroK. Bring it again.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, would this be like his standard opener? I don't think so. I hope not. Or maybe he's revolutionized it. Who knows?
What do you mean you hope not, man? He won the first game.
Well, I hope not, because then I'd have to learn how to do something different.
Oh my god, like, once again, very interesting. Going for the gas first here is RagnaroK, gas pool, and then eventually hatchery. We saw for the last game it was just for link speed and to throw off his opponent. He did a really good job at denying vision here, but I do think there's a lot of power in this build, because I do think there's a lot of versatility with where you want to take it, and if you want to, you can be more aggressive with it.
Yeah, that's it. It's a very flexible build. We've seen the meta, like when you think back to Wings of Liberty, you know, the meta with the 14-14, or the economy was different, but 14-14, 14 gas, 14 pool, was considered the safe kind of standard build. And now we've got, you know, 3 hatcheries before 20 supply, before like the queens pop. It's the meta's evolved a lot. So that's not to say that it's a superior kind of play style. It's just the play style that players have kind of settled in as being what's expected. So right away we were seeing in the last game, like, it's something unexpected RagnaroK's doing, and already Bunny was kind of on edge.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And just like the previous game, he goes for an SCV scout. He confirms the timing of the hatchery, confirms that it is not a hatch first, so immediately he will turn around. Last game, he kept the Reaper at home. This game, he's being a little bit more adventurous with it, and I do appreciate this, just because we saw that, like, there wasn't really much early game aggression, but at the same time, oh, he's respected. Yeah, he's coming back home. Not quite committing to scout across the map.
Yeah, no, that's it. And again, he's going to be patrolling these lanes. It does look like just the 2 coming across. Gonna just tag the watchtower and just chill out. But Light, do you see what I see back in RagnaroK's main?
I see the lack of drones. I see the abundance of links. And this is what I was talking about. Last game, RagnaroK, he just droned up from here, but now he is completely pulled out of gas. He's making nothing but links. He is gonna go for a mass link flood.
Oh, he is indeed. And this is a stark contrast to game number 2, which Bunny was on edge and saw that it was actually Overlord speed. But the lings are coming in, and the wall, he has finished the wall. He's going to get the depots up.
Ooh, just barely depots do get up, but 3 SCVs are going to be going down here on the low ground. So the lings, all 3 SCVs do go down. He's going to try and force a lift off of this CC as well. Tries to get us around on the Reaper, but Bunny's a little bit too hot here. He's, oh god!
Oh, and he's dancing, he's playing with fire as he jumps up again. And RagnaroK, oh, he's even going to get the Hellion, which is a really good move. Might get the Reaper as well. No, it just barely gets saved, but yeah, not too bad damage. Not the worst, as we see just 3 SCVs going down. But oh, what would you make of that, Light? Do you think that was a good move considering it's 3cc? I'd say probably not.
Specifically because of the 3cc, I would agree with you there. I don't think that was really worth it. Obviously, RagnaroK was gambling a little bit, hoping that the wall wasn't a wall, and maybe he gets into the main base, or maybe he gets the Reaper as well. So very good crisis management by Bunny overall.
Yeah, it is indeed. As we see now, Bunny has got the map control. He did lose the Hellion, so he's only got 3. But just a couple of queens. It looks like it's not bad. It's not great, obviously, for RagnaroK, but it's just kind of, yeah. It's I don't know, like.
The thing is, I don't know either. Like, as in, I'm having a hard time getting the words out of my mouth to say that I don't like RagnaroK's position, because I want to believe that he knows exactly what he's doing. Like, I want to believe that he's like, no, yeah, I'm fine. Like, that he's a man with a plan, you know? I think he, like, in a way, I saw him in the chat earlier. He reminds me a little bit of Miyamika, you know? He's got his own way of playing, and he makes it work, you know? Like, even the last game, like, his opener didn't really do too much, and we felt like he was behind, but like the way that he controlled, the way that he hit his +1 timing with his lings, like, he just can make it happen anyway.
Yeah, that's right. And we see it looks like Bunny's going to be switching up as well. He's gone for quite a fast armor, and he's just making more Hellions with the Cloak Banshee as well. And it looks like RagnaroK's got a lot of drones, but he has got a Queen and a Spore on the main, which is good. But does Bunny want to commit to being aggressive when he's got a third CC on the way? And looks like what? Why else would he have this armor? You know?
Yeah, it looks like he wants to hit a Banshee Hellbat push here. Bunny does, and if this gets scouted, RagnaroK, he did go for a safety Baneling Nest. He does have the opportunity to go into Banelings if he needs them, if he does sense this. Meanwhile, the Hellions are about to rock up, and at the moment, he doesn't have any Banelings ready.
That's it. There is a Spore at the third base, and there's also a lot of drones as we see how it's coming in. Are there any links? As Bane's being morphed at the natural, and he's going to be forced to evacuate, and he gets on top of the Queens as well, with Banshees poking away at them as they retreat.
Oh, exactly. A lot of damage being done to these Queens. The Banelings roll on in as well. They do get some decent connections on a lot of these Hellbats with the power of the Queen. It looks like RagnaroK is going to be able to push this back.
Yeah, there's a couple low health Queens, but it looks like he's going to push it back. He might even take everything out, but Queens are just such jacked units, man. They're amazing, but the real story here, no work is going down at all. When you commit to this many units, you either want to kill your opponent or you want to get some worker damage. So I'd say really good hold for RagnaroK, and I'd say the position in this game now, it's not bad at all.
Yeah, like again, the crisis management. RagnaroK didn't see this coming at all. He didn't have any Banelings ready. As soon as the push came in, he morphed in 7 Banelings. He pulled away his drones here at the third base. He brought his Spore from the natural down into that fight as well. He brought all the Queens, very well handled.
Handled indeed, light, as we now see double expansions going down. We've got a 4th on the way, we've got a 5th on the way, just a bit of map presence as a Banshee is going to be patrolling away by Bunny, and Hellions again coming across the map. But yeah, I'm not sure. I guess he's going to kind of cute little move to get the tumors, but maybe at the cost of their lives.
Yeah, we see a full surround here. 2 of these Hellions are going to go down. Only 2, as the rest of them are going to be covered by these reinforcers. Or maybe I spoke too soon because the tank gets surrounded.
Yeah, no, this is a full-on kind of attack here from RagnaroK. Has he kind of overextended? I'd like to say maybe just a bit. His worker count hasn't really gone up any higher. Of course, he's building buildings, so he has been making more workers, but it's still kind of stuck at 63. And by this time, when you're facing a Terran with a fully saturated third base, you want to at least, have at least 74 drones, I'd say.
Yeah, the drones are lacking here for RagnaroK, and you could argue that link trade wasn't really worth it. He did get the tank, so it's kind of hard to judge gas-wise that maybe it was worth it. Maybe it is going to slow down any kind of push. There's no staying power here for this drop anymore without the tank. And something that I found a little bit interesting is that RagnaroK actually went for a pretty quick, unless I'm mistaken, pretty quick Hydrogen.
Yeah, he did indeed, as we see. Nice little lift off from Bunny there with the Hellbat as well. Marine scouting the bottom base, seeing these drones, and it's got to leave Bunny thinking, there's so many drones on the field. Is RagnaroK going to play that mass kind of Ling Bane, just throw away 100 drone style? And but seeing the Hydras does confirm it's going to be similar to the last game with Light. What is the plan here for RagnaroK? What does he want to do as he heads into this game? And how is Bunny? Is he going to secure a 4th base, or is he just going to get torn apart?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, 2-2's on the way for Bunny, so I'm sure he would want to try and hit some kind of timing. Before that happens, we do have a double drop head towards that main base. We do have plenty of time to respond here from RagnaroK, as it looks like, he does end up catching one of these drops. Bunny trying to set himself up here for a bit of a multi-prong harass.
Multi-prong harass indeed. Pull the Zerg apart. There are no mutas on the field, so Medevacs will be a little bit more effective. Bane's good attention by Bunny. Also going to deal with his Lings up the top, and we're going to see, just these little skirmishes on the map just to keep RagnaroK busy as Bunny secures his 4th.
Yeah, I just worry because it feels like RagnaroK is getting away with this tech, right? As opposed to the previous game where he was stuck with Mass Ling Bane for much longer. Meanwhile, decent snipes here. 3-4 Queens go down. Very nicely done here by Bunny.
Yeah, and Queens are broken, so we know that is a really good move for Bunny. Unfortunately, there's still 5 Queens. Oh, only 5 Queens, but yeah, it's kind of the map presence you're seeing here from Bunny. Just keeping tabs at the top, keeping tabs at the bottom, seeing where RagnaroK's posturing so he can posture his army as well. As we see, he's coming to the bottom before this planetary finishes to support it. But looks like RagnaroK wants to hit on both sides here. Like,
Yeah, so far Bunny has defended here towards the south, towards the north. Woodbine shot does get baited out, will get cleaned up, but yeah, I don't know if RagnaroK can really find too much here. The commitment from Bunny towards the south is pretty large, so RagnaroK brings everything over.
yeah, that's right. This map, you know, it's again, as I said at the start, it's not the Stormolus map, but it's so open, and you really kind of have to respect your opponent because they can just walk across the pond and put pressure on you, as we see, like a defensive kind of posture here for RagnaroK has turned into an aggressive one.
Yeah, exactly. He just dives on in. He does get a surround on some of these tanks. Banelings roll in as well, but there just isn't enough Bling Bane. The tank spread was good enough here for Bunny. RagnaroK with a questionable move, diving off of creep.
Yeah, indeed. Probably saw a moment and wanted to seize it, but we see gonna be forced back now and gonna have to give up some of this creep as Bunny kind of secures his position, secures his side of the map a little bit better, and it looks like RagnaroK does not want to let him do that, however.
Yeah, I don't know if he can stop him. I mean, he's gonna get on top of some of these tanks. The Banelings are rolling on forward as well. The splits are looking pretty good here for Bunny, and Bunny does push this back. Mate, he's not stopping. He's gonna keep on going.
He's not stopping indeed as the rally is coming across the map, and RagnaroK doesn't really have the forces to kind of, you know, put any preventive pressure on the other side of the map. He's kind of forced right here and now to hold this with what he has, but Light, this is such a strong position, and it looks like I don't think he's got enough units.
Yeah, he's gonna try and come in from two sides at the same time. Banelings are rolling in as well, but as you said, he just doesn't have the numbers. He doesn't have enough Bling Bane here. I thought like taking it to Hydras was a little bit questionable. I thought maybe he would try and go straight into Lurkers instead, but no, he stuck with and tried to hit a Ling Bane Hydra timing instead, off of creep, and as soon as that fight didn't go his way, Bunny has all the momentum.
Yeah, that's right. As we see this position now, it's quite an open area he has to push towards, but he's got siege units and liberators and tanks, and there's quite a choky position where his army is set up now, and RagnaroK forced to attack from just the one angle. He's just going to bleed units through, and GG is called. Bunny takes game number 2.
GG, he ties up the series 1-1. And yeah, that was again another interesting kind of style there by RagnaroK, switching things up from the previous game, keeping not just his player, his opponent, but also us on our toes. GG.
On our toes we are indeed, because not, you know, we kind of we expected, I guess, the pull first. We expected a certain play style, an aggressive one in game number 1. It didn't come to fruition. It was more of a macro build, and then we expected, I guess, that same opener once we saw the pull first in game 2, but no, it was an aggressive Ling Flood. So RagnaroK kind of shaking things up and you know, showing even when you've seen him do something before, he's got other options that he can go for, mate.
He really does, mate. He really does. He's crazy like that. He's crazy like that. Very me and Mike-esque, I want to say. Cut from the same cloth, I feel. Obviously very different stylistically, but yeah, there are some similarities that you can kind of place between the two. And we'll see how he does here in game number 3, especially because we are now done with some of the smaller maps. We are moving on here to one of the larger ones instead.
Yeah, and I was going to say, be careful what you wish for. Like, we'll see RagnaroK going 2 base Hydra in the next GSL. Be careful. But, Glittering Ashes, and I want to say, oh, I hear people say it's a good map for Terran, but it's just so wide, so it's good for Zerg. But we'll get into that in just a moment as we introduce the players spawning in the bottom left position. It is the winner of the last game. It is the man whose arm was broken in GSL, but he is back working at optimal condition. For Team NV, it's Bunny.
And spawning in the top right hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the South Korean Zerg player himself representing Alpha X. It is RagnaroK. Going for a pull first.
A pull first indeed. Kind of interesting though. He floated up to about 260 minerals or so.
Yeah.
And then 2 rounds. Yeah, you've got a keen eye now that you're a Masters League player.
Go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say, no gas yet, however.
Yeah, like I was looking at RagnaroK's build like a hawk. I'm like, the hell are you doing? I was trying to figure it out. Eventually, he did go for a pull first. Yeah, we'll see what this is going to be for. Is it just to make a handful of lings and try and force a denial here of the CC? That's kind of ideally what this is for. It's a large map, so arguably maybe easy to avoid the Reaper. So we go, 4 lings are on the way. 6 even.
6 lings, yeah, and something that we have to kind of mention that it's a bit of a deviation from the prior games is not Bunny, sorry, RagnaroK, he only made 2 lings last game despite having this cool first opener. So Bunny might scout, this overall is going to catch the STV scout, which is really good. He's going to be able to redirect his lings, but Bunny might scout it, think it's just going to be a 2 ling opener, but yeah, we've got 6 light. That's 3 times as many.
Yeah, I love this. There we go. Both 2 lings were kept at home here to deal with this SCV. So for all Bunny knows, this looks like the exact same build as the previous games, as game 2 and game 1. So like the mind games are really coming into effect here. He's not going to be anticipating these lings to really rock up. Meanwhile, back at home, mate, he skipped his Reaper. He went Marine first.
Is that Marine trapped?
It is trapped. Oh, okay.
All wag on our face, isn't it? Is that Marine on a wall? It's a zealot in disguise.
What is What is this? What? What am I looking at right now?
Yeah, and luckily for Bunny, like RagnaroK just turned around and gone home.
Yeah. Yo, if RagnaroK rocked up, he would have killed some SCVs, gone up the ramp. There is no wall, by the way. Like,
he would have killed the Marine. He would have got the reactor, and he would have just won the game.
What?
But unfortunately, Bunny's either equally as genius as RagnaroK, or he's just done an oopsie. But we see the depot now. Especially considering like the ling flood from last game, like that's kind of risky.
Yeah. And speaking of ling flood, it's not a ling flood. He's going straight into a roach warren, mate.
Ooh. Oh. I was like, roaches. I'm like, wait. Marauder. This does not compute my
I love this, man. I love this. So it looks like Bunny's setting himself up to go for a Hellbat Marauder push, I imagine, especially if he does start concussive shell. So he's got his own plans that he's doing independent of what RagnaroK is doing, because if we look at the vision of Bunny, he hasn't really seen much at all. He goes up the ramp, gets denied entry into that natural base. Hellions have to try and rotate around here. Roaches are on the way right now. The goal here for RagnaroK is to keep this hidden for as long as possible.
Yeah, and if you kind of look at the layout of the map here for RagnaroK, you know, there's 2 ways the Hellions can come in. The Queens can kind of like shepherd away the Hellions on either side, and the Roaches will just go the other way. As we see, he sees the Hellions on the left-hand side, sends the Roaches to the right hand. Meanwhile, we have Concussive Shell, Marauders, and Armory on the way, and like, yeah, here we go. Roaches kind of tag team the Queens, but how does this work out? I feel like this favors the Zerg in this situation.
Yeah, so it's gonna be that Hellbat Marauder push that we were talking about before. So far, this does get scouted in the middle of the map. Hellions do turn around. Everything turns around. He's coming back home. Hellions clearly aren't going to do too much here. Marauders are going to be the real MVP. How good is the micro? How good is the target fire? But with only 3 Marauders, is it going to be enough?
Yeah, a volley at the top of the ramp, and RagnaroK actually getting forced back here, and really good pickup marker by Bunny too with using the medevac boost, and a light. Like this is unexpected.
This is working really well, mate. Marauders are OP. The way that they target fire the micro as well. He drops Marauders once again. He's chasing down every single roach.
Yeah, that's really impressive. Queens now coming to support the Roaches as the Roaches scramble away to protecting their dear beloved Queens, but now he's lost 4 Roaches. And he's got units on his footstep.
He really does. He really does. Those Marauders are dishing out so much damage on these Roaches. The Roaches are falling one after the other. They don't have the most longevity, and we do have a lot of nice target fire on that medevac. It looks like Bunny has to turn around. He has no more staying power. Oh.
Yeah. I kind of want to say, like, I always see Terrans kind of like push at this level. You'll see them kill the Zergs, but at this level, I feel like pushes never really work. But what else can they do? As Bunny does get deflected, does keep his Marauders alive, however, and that's going to help out if RagnaroK chooses to kind of go for another mid-game Roach Ravager timing as we see start his lair. But at the moment, 4th base down for Rag, and a 3rd base almost finished for Bunny.
Yeah. So it looks like RagnaroK is kind of taking a step back, and it looks like he wants to go into a more Ling Bane. You know, Baneley Nest has been thrown down. I think because of the Marauder opening and because all the Marauders are still alive, he recognizes that going for a heavy Roach Ravager composition isn't going to be the most ideal. We'll see though. We'll see if he still decides to try and make it work. Meanwhile, this Viking is putting in a lot of work, mate. It's already got 2 Overlord kills. It's going to get a 3rd. Oh my god.
Yeah, look at him go. Look, he's shooting stuff down. Pew, 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 pew. Some high level stuff. But oh man, look at those lava vents. That's pretty cool. Oh wow. But oh, and there's dark minerals too. But in Marauder hit squad and light, this could maybe start the base.
He can get the hatch, mate. He can get it. Here we go. The Roaches are trying to waddle on in. The Queen goes down. This hatchery is not long for this world. The Roaches are going to try and deal with this, but again, Marauders are ideal against Roaches. Things going to make this a little bit difficult though. Ooh.
Yeah, they do indeed. I'm just thinking if we just like focus down the hatch with the Viking DPS as well.
Yeah.
You know, he may still not have got it, but that really puts a sore spot for RagnaroK that he'd have to babysit. But we see now it still is a sore spot as a tank moving out across the map. Second tank as well that gets picked up. But against this many Lings, a Spire on the way. I feel like RagnaroK's trying to do too much at once. He does get the Viking, but this 4th base, will he be able to hold it?
That's the big question. It's all about the 4th. Here we go. Hellbats are running on in. Marines as well. Quickly checking the upgrades. Stim is completed. A bit of an early stim, to be honest, here by Bunny. He just dives on in. He wants to get here as soon as possible. The tanks are in the back line. There are no Ravagers to help deal with those tanks.
Yeah, the tanks are a little bit far back. It's a stim, but even though there's a couple of Banelings, like Banespeed is not finished, and he does get that 4th base, and Bunny doesn't need to commit here, he can just back off.
Yeah, exactly. He's already dealt the damage that he needs, so we just see almost a full surround, but the tanks do cover the army of Bunny, and he wants more. He gets a Queen, almost gets a Ravager, and he can just keep dancing.
Can dance all day, mate. Dance all day. But yeah, I'd like to see him maybe he's using the tanks as a bit of like an anchor point for him to be aggressive, but seeing Banespeed now, expect to see him pick up. Oh, does lose a few units, a bit more than he'd like to, but not bad at all for Bunny. Oh, losing these 2 tanks is not good either. Should have unsieged those. I remember he decided to lift up, but yeah, I'd say overall good moves for Bunny. But the Armutas joining the fray soon.
Yeah, I would agree that as soon as Bunny killed this base and he was maybe overextending a little bit, he did overstay his welcome. So at least RagnaroK was able to get those tanks for his troubles. So at least he was able to get a bit of a win on that aspect. And with these mutas, are they going to be able to do too much here? We have a lot of men with gun, still unscattered there, and there are no missile turrets in these mineral lines. Oh my.
No, there is not. As we see a push on the left-hand side, may not get too much done. However, the mutas, his Marines being back at home would be more helpful, but especially if the triangle base taken. But there's no turrets, as we see mutas coming in like 6 Overlords on the way. RagnaroK's supply blocked.
He's supply blocked because another Overlord is going to be going down as well. We do have a drop here at that 3rd base location. Meanwhile, the mutas, oh, they're the title. Oh god.
Ooh, lucky there wasn't too many Marines to deal with that. We see the multitasking from both these players. It's insane. Like, they're both trying to, you know, they're testing each other, and each player is meeting their opponent. But we see it's kind of, the harassment's kind of stabilized. The mutas backed off. The drop's been cleaned up. But that was a hectic moment for both players. But you see why they're some of the best in the world.
Exactly. In the end, they do bounce off each other with their aggression. RagnaroK back at home is able to get up to those 80 drones that he does so desperately needed. He does get a 4th base up and running. He could do with another. He's still trying to catch up with those upgrades, but at least with the mutas, he's able to buy a little bit of breathing. But the mine!
I love that sound effect. I'm gonna think of that every time I get hit by a mine. Oof, oof. But yeah, no, good control by RagnaroK. Muta playstyles, they're strange, right? You don't see them as often anymore. But they do appear, and they can be really potent, really effective. But just with how this game is going, oh, I'm just gonna shepherd the mutas away. No, the mutas gonna get taken out. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. We got 5 more mutas in the way. Is RagnaroK just gonna go for a pure kind of muta style here, like?
Yeah, very old school. I think Sue did this a couple of days ago in the GSL as well. Of course, it makes sense. Sue is a more old school player. But for RagnaroK to whip this out, we'll see how well it does for him, especially because Thors are coming out. You know, we're going to have a lot of anti-air here for Bunny. It's still all going to come down to the positioning. Speaking of, RagnaroK, he just goes for a mass counterattack.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to come in, sees his opponent is out of position. As we see, jumping on top of this third base, there's no bans to get the lurkers, however, but actually not too much damage done altogether, really. Just gets the turret and a couple of, what's it called?
Yeah. He gets a tank, the Banelings are not able to morph in either. I don't really think that was really worth it for RagnaroK. Thankfully, he hasn't dipped too far down in supply. Oh, solid scan does catch the mass Ling run by. Oh, he doesn't care.
Solid scan, yeah, as we see. It looks like we're going to be having... Oh, Widowman's setting up, but I think with the mutas coming in, will he be able to clean up this push? But there's reinforcements, and I feel like RagnaroK is trying to force the issue here, and he's playing as if he's, you know, Bunny's not being able to deal with what's happening, but I feel like Bunny's in quite a dominant position this game so far.
Oh yeah, for the past couple of minutes, like Bunny has been absolutely just dominating these engagements. We've just seen a lack of banelings, to be honest, from RagnaroK. He doesn't have a gas bank. He spent all of his gas on these mutas, and let's be honest, the mutas have not paid for themselves.
Yeah, no, they have not indeed, and that's the thing. Like, you want to keep like ducking in and trying to get damage and try and make them pay for themselves. But even then, oh, hold that thought, engagement happening. Like, it's a lot of banelings and lanes, but
the banelings are rolling on in, but the splits are real, Papi. Bunny, he deals with all of this. The mutas are not going to be enough here, and Bunny can keep on pushing forward. We do have a second wave of banelings though.
Yeah, that we do indeed. And the Marine split, however, it's incredible here for Bunny. And just look at that concave. These mutas are going to be forced to back up. And Bunny's just hitting a strong timing here.
Yeah, exactly. The baneling connection is just not good enough. We do have a couple more rolling on in. And maybe, just maybe, it looks like RagnaroK can barely hold on here. But oh, he loses almost every single muta. The mutas go down.
Wow, and the muta's going down. So does RagnaroK's hopes of winning this game. GG is called. And Bunny will take our game 3 on Glittering Ashes. Ooh.
Oh my god. GG, well played. Very nice display there by Bunny. RagnaroK trying to, again, mix things up, change up his style, go Lingbane Muta off of a Roach push that kind of fell on its face. It didn't really quite work too well in the end there. The mutas were unscouted, don't get me wrong, but if you remember, they got like 4 SCV kills and that's kind of it. Then they had to like rush back home to deal with the drop that was already dealt with.
Yeah, no, they didn't at all, did they? It was kind of a situation where you had the perfect kind of setup. He had, you know, mutas across the map with no turrets, but he was distracted by having to defend the drops without mutas back at home, and it just seems like it was just yeah, he couldn't really pounce the opportunity when it was there and just, you know, solidify his a lead going into the later stages of the game.
Oof, yeah, I do worry a little bit here. I hope that we're going to be able to see this series go on further, but for the time being, our Terran player is up in this series 2-1.
You're not wrong, Light. That was good. I think definitely tell you're a master player. Alright.
Are you okay, Chase?
It took me until hitting masters to count like series scores as well, but
oh god, and even then sometimes I know you get it wrong, mate. I mean,
I get a lot of things wrong. One thing I will not get wrong though is our blue Zerg player in the bottom left, spawning in the bottom left. It is Bunny from Team NV. I was just looking at your face.
Are you okay? And spawning in the top right hand corner of 2000 atmospheres, we have the South Korean Zerg player. He is up against the wall. One more loss and he is knocked out of this qualifying match down into the lower brackets. Representing Alpha X, it is RagnaroK.
Don't worry, lad. I knew he wasn't the blue Zerg. I said it for him. I promise.
Beautiful, beautiful. Here we go. Our Terran player, he is one game away from qualifying. Not just qualifying, mate. I feel like we got to reiterate this sometimes. When you qualify, you get a plane ticket, you get a hotel room, you know, you have made it to Germany, to HomeStory Cup.
That's right. You get a nice German engineered massage from Light. There's a lot on the line here for these players, and especially when when you're in Europe, it's a bit easier. I don't. It's still not easy, but it's easy to kind of make it to a home story. When you live in a place like Korea or even Southeast Asia, as we are aware personally, you don't get opportunities to go overseas all that much, especially this deep into StarCraft's lifespan. So it's quite a prestigious trophy on the line here for both of these players, as we see. Is that a hatch first?
It is. I knew that there was something missing as we were getting into this game. I was like, usually we have our breaths held in anticipation for our Zerg player here, but for the first time this series, RagnaroK opens up standard.
Standard. Does that mean that he's playing not standard?
That means that it's clearly not RagnaroK. This is an imposter. This is oh my god. Yeah, I didn't think I'd see the day.
Yeah, well, hold that thought. Like, you can change on a dime if he chooses to do something different. But Bunny also, he's going to feel a bit more at home, seeing that it's quite a standard opening. But yeah, it's how is he going? Is he just going to like play a macro game? We see a third CC coming down for Bunny. But yeah, like third CC started before the natural finishes actually. Ooh.
Yeah, the third CC started before the factory was even done, mate. Let's go. Very fast third here from Bunny. Very economic focused. And yeah, as we get into game 4, everything is looking normal, as if this was any other pro top tier Terran and Zerg. So we'll see if things do switch up later on. I do kind of like this from RagnaroK because, again, like, he's been trying to juke and jive, and like he's been flipping, he's been doing somersaults and all this crazy stuff. It's like, mate, calm down, just take a breath, play out of the game, and we'll see if he can take it to Bunny in something more standard.
Yeah, that's it. And another feature in this map is the main base on 2000 atmospheres. There's actually 2 jump up paths for the Reaper, so it's a little bit harder to hide anything tricky. That is quite a tricky Banus behind the natural though, actually. But as we say, 8lings on the way, but that is a possibility. And we have a Viking again opening for Bunny, so 3cc Viking, quite a greedy build, but as long as he scouts and knows what's going on, he should be fine. But RagnaroK, we have more lings on the way, Light. Oh, never mind, more drones.
Would you have a decent amount of lings? You're not wrong. He is still droning up. I guess safety lings here just to make sure he is safe and sound from any kind of early game aggression. Bailiness was cancelled, actually. Oh my god.
Oh, and yeah, and he's got a gas just kind of floating around. So maybe a change of plans, maybe something he witnessed. He kind of changed, deviated his game plan, but Bunny needs to be a bit careful. Yep, keeping his Hellions when they're on creep, you have to be very diligent with them. But yeah, pretty standard so far.
Yeah, I'm really curious as to what was scouted here, because the Overlord of RagnaroK did go in. He did see the third CC. Actually, he missed the third CC, but seeing the timing of the starports, he should be well aware of what his opponent is doing. So yeah, in the end, just changing his plans and actually gonna catch all these Hellions.
Yeah, it looks like the Hellions may just slip away. The Vikings trying to support, but really good micro there from Bunny. That cleans up all those lings, and this is the thing about Zerg. You don't really want to be trading your lings with Hellions unless you have to. You can try and get greedy like that, but when you lose your lings, you're forced to remake more. You can try and skip it, which RagnaroK seems to be doing because he's got queens and only a couple Hellions left, but yeah, pretty good trades for Bunny so far.
Very good trades. That was a little bit devastating by RagnaroK. To invest so heavily into all those lings, you want to at least shut down the Hellions, That's the least amount of damage that you're looking for, and he didn't even get that. They just barely managed to slip away from his grasp. Now they're going to be available later on. They're still available to help clear up all this creep. They can turn into Hellbats for that big 1-1 push. So yeah, not the most efficient trade because of that. RagnaroK doesn't have as many drones as he otherwise would like. Other than that, things are looking pretty normal though. The standard time, bailiness, 1-1, all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's it. And meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we see Bunny's extra production will be about to start kicking in. The timer to watch for will be when that second tank pops. It could even be a third tank, but basically he'll want to push and put some damage on before Bane speed finishes. That's his timing. He's got a slight 1-1 advantage, but just kind of sussing things out. Sees a lot of Zerglings. Oh, those Hellions gonna be driving for their lives, but yes, so far I'd expect to see Bunny move out soon and leave some pressure on this fourth base, put those tanks behind those destructible rocks.
Oh yeah, even clearing up some of the creep fields here at the fourth as well. He has control of that tower. At the same time, RagnaroK going for a bit of a run by here, looking to try and sneak into the natural base. The wall is coming into the wall. Up! Oh.
Oh, all is a wall light as these lings forced back. Bunny being very kind of diligent again, just watching, making sure that there's no entrances to his base, and RagnaroK's going to try his luck again with the scouting marines, going to catch these lings again, and there we go, Siege taking the high ground. Well done by Bunny.
Yeah, these Ling run-bys haven't done too much here. Meanwhile, they almost committed to the natural base, but that tank dishes out so much damage at the same time. The main push is here. The tanks are already behind those destructible rocks, as you were saying, and he's here for the fourth.
Oh my god, like that's so many Banelings. I feel like it's almost too many Banelings, but Bane speed finishing soon. I guess he's got more Lings rallying in. He's got even Lings for the flank behind too, but yeah, with the Queens can probably tank the first few shots from the tanks, and then you can overrun this with Bane speed now, but is he going to wait for 1-1 to finish?
That one Viking is still killing Overlords, by the way. Meanwhile, here we go. We have a full surround being set up here from RagnaroK, looking to swallow up this army. He comes in from every single angle and every single turn. Oh my god, the units are all just going to evaporate.
Yeah, and a couple well-like target fire there by Bunny to get those clumps of Banes, but RagnaroK is going to clean up. Bunny does retain a lot of his marine force, but unfortunately using their tanks, which I would say makes it an unsuccessful push. The Viking with 5 kills definitely paid for itself, but RagnaroK, he's going to take the gases in his fourth. He's going to tech up into his hive, and he's in quite a comfortable position as Bunny looks again to attack on the bottom side now.
Yeah, he's moving out. Looks like he's going to just barely miss the Massling run by as it does head towards that third base again. The tank is exposed, and the tank is going to go down. It looks like RagnaroK may finally deal some, never mind, some economic damage. No, he's not. The reinforcements are just a little bit too good. Oh my god, the Lings even get caught out in the retreat.
Yeah, it's always sad when you're running away and then you run into more trouble. But yeah, this base, I'm gonna say like this is quite an ambitious base. Ooh, what a Baneling! Oh, sorry, what a Widowmine in there. There's 28 kills in that Widowmine. What a trooper,
mate! 28 kills, mate. One Widowmine shot and 28 kills. That's insane. The hatchery barely survives as well. At the same time, Bunny does have a double jump towards the left-hand side of the map. Can RagnaroK hold on to the hatchery?
Yeah, no, I feel like it's gonna be a bit of a decoy base to kind of force Bunny to step up and take it out.
It's gonna be set! It's gonna be set! No!
Oh no, it's got 42 hits now.
42 kills?
And it lives. It killed Banes, but it didn't get blown up by the Banes. Wow.
What the hell, man? Get some protection.
And here we go. The poor Widowmine. He said his goodbyes. But that is a very cost-efficient mine. That's Widowmines in a nutshell, right? They either like kill your army or like kill half your opponents.
Yeah, it's one or the other. It's never both made, but that Widowmine did definitely more than pay for itself. At the same time, Lingbane looking to try and dive on these Marines. Bunny, though, with the control, is able to pull back off of creep. Something interesting is that he has been dancing a lot without like much of an anchor point. Where are the tanks and Widowmines? They're harassing instead.
Oh, it's just not the greatest hit. Does get 4 units, but yeah, you're right. Like this base, yeah, as I said, quite ambitious to hold. I would have expected RagnaroK to let it fall and just, hit the third base because there's no planetary there. But it looks like Bunny is going to get that and successfully back away. But just looking at the creep spread, it's looking a bit light on the left-hand side for RagnaroK. There he goes. He's spreading it now, but when you get into this stage of the game, you want to secure the quadrants of the map, but looks like he wants to secure the bottom. But yeah, we're going to be going to the late game with the Ghost Academy almost finished.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. This is the first time. I mean, to be fair, we did have pretty standard economic openers from both players. RagnaroK is for the first time going into Lurkers. Lurker upgrades are already on the way. Ling Bane Lurker is the name of the game here. Doesn't have any Lurkers yet. Hasn't morphed them in, so not gonna have them for the next fight. Speaking of, Bunny trying to find his way through all this creep and clearing up a lot of it. We talked about it before. There's just not that much creep spread here.
Yeah, that's it. And again, that's a disadvantage of not playing the Muta style we lost from last series as Widow Mines go off. And it looks like 7 drones going down. Not the worst, especially at this stage in the game. Easy to replace, but not what you want to be replacing at this stage again as well. But see, another cancel by Bunny, and he's just going to be, you know, kind of turtling up, just kind of dealing with harassing and making his opponent not too comfortable.
The Widow Mine shots just keep going on. RagnaroK, puppy, please. It's been a little bit unlucky. You were talking about it before, because of the lack of creep spread towards the top left specifically, like he's just having a hard time like expanding and taking more bases. He just doesn't have that much freedom to do so.
Yeah, especially when you're being pressured on the bottom side here, and ZVT, it often turns into this you saw kind of, you see like Cyril, and you see RagnaroK doing it right now, splitting army half and half. Unfortunately, one Hydra's that base, luckily away for Bunny, but yeah, it's just a tug of war on both sides of the map, because you can really just kind of back off, you know, Zerg onto creep or Terran behind planetaries if it does get like too overwhelming. But you see a push coming in here for RagnaroK, not going to get many SCVs, gets 4, does scout the ghost, but like, it looks like, yeah, get comfy, because we're going to be here a while.
We are. RagnaroK is taking in every which direction. Despite getting the Lurker Den, despite getting those upgrades, it looks like he has recognized maybe now is not the time for Lurkers. It's come, it's gone. We have Pathogen Glands on the way. We have a Greater Spire instead. He's setting up to potentially even switch into Broodlords. You know, if we get there,
Yeah, that's it. And Broodlords are, on, you know, on a map this kind of large, it can be a bit of a double-edged sword, because of course, they're wonderful units. They're very effective, especially in the, you know, the hands of someone like RagnaroK. But they kind of leave you open to being counter-attacked, and you can't really cover all your bases. So expect to see Ling Bane still be quite prevalent throughout this late game as he deals with these drops, especially without the mutas. But we'll have to see what kind of action he takes and he gets his Spire up.
Yeah, like RagnaroK has, I think, as you were saying, options, right? If he wants to, he can try and go into Broodlords. If he wants to, he can try and go into Lurkers. If he wants to, he can go into Infestors, Vipers, right? Kind of pick your poison. He has all the tech. I think the only thing he's missing as he gets scanned is an Ultra Cavern. And he can kind of pick and choose where he wants to go. I don't think he's really committed yet. He is working on those air attack upgrades. But yeah, for the time being, he's going to have to clear up some of his supply, and we'll see what he can get done. Oh, God.
Yeah, and wow, this is ambitious by RagnaroK going right up that little choke point into looks like he wants to start this base, but like, I'm not honestly sure. Oh, attack on the left-hand side as well. Maybe it was the right move to kind of distract his opponent, but I was gonna say, when you're at the stage where Terran's just kind of making lots of orbitals, it does get, you know, it's not super effective to this kind of playstyle, but when you're at 100 drones, I think it's not a bad choice at all, honestly.
Yeah, to be fair, it's one of those things where we were talking about it. RagnaroK had to clear up supply. You know, he was maxed out with not the most efficient army. We do see him lose a lot of Ling Bane, but he remaxes with Infestors and with Corruptors. He does want to go Broodlord Infestor. That is the name of the game. So it wasn't the worst trade for him. You pointed it out. He killed 2 planetaries. Immediately they get replaced. So not the most impactful trade, but, you know, a trade nonetheless.
That's right, and when you're taking up all these Widow Mines, oh my god! Oh my! 21 kills and 28 kills.
Oh no!
As you were saying, like 14 Broodlords on the way, and he needed a way to kind of trade those units out. So probably one of the more effective ways to do it, rather than just running them in, but just running them up that choke towards the natural where the destructible rocks are. It's quite a Chad move.
Yeah, it was.
And by Chad I mean quite an ape move, but it worked out in the end.
You know, some Chads can be apes, some apes are Chads. We'll see how this goes here, as Bunny's going for a bit of a drop here towards the top left hand side. Meanwhile, we see a scan, and it looks like he barely catches a glimpse of these Broodlords, but for the most part they have gone uncontested, unscouted, and now they fully reveal themselves.
Yeah, and all these Widow Mines again being annoying, And there are ghosts on the field. These infestors need to come in and support. The ghosts are cloaked, really good splitting up by Bunny actually to get some snipes down, but the ghosts get caught. Look at that spore crawler light.
Oh my god, the spore crawler was the only form of detection here. Meanwhile, the rest of the army is moving on forward. He has to be careful not to get fungled. There are some more infestors behind this, and RagnaroK, he's kind of pushing through.
Yeah, and I gotta say, like, you know, Bunny didn't really scout this until quite late. He's got a nice ghost count, very healthy, but he just, you know, how does he get on top to snipe the Broodlords, his infestors, his Banes, his detection? And I feel like this defensive position is being compromised.
It really is, mate. The Ling Bane is running on forward. There's nothing to stop them. The Widow Mines and the tanks were all dealt with. They do connect with those ghosts in the ends, and RagnaroK with this unscouted tech switch, he's doing it.
He's doing it indeed. There's so many Broodlords. Still energy on Infestor despite it being a bit weak, but what can Bunny do? He doesn't even have the option to kind of counterattack because, you know, the Broods are almost at his natural and the Slaw's out now, but yeah, Light, how does he slow this push by our Zerg player?
He prays, mate. He puts his hands together. We'll see if it's going to be enough. The Bailey's are rolling on in as well. There's just nothing to stop them. The tanks siege up a little bit late. They don't connect with the fire, but again, the Broodlord's still going uncontested. I was going to say that a lot of this was because we did see scans in the main and scans in the natural of RagnaroK. The Greater Spire was hidden at the third base. Very nice positioning here. It was never seen. It was never sought after. Eventually, the Vikings are going to clean up these Broodlords, but the damage has been done.
That's right, like just the efficiency, and you see just Lings and Banes shooting 57 Banes on the way from RagnaroK, and meanwhile, you know, Bunny for the last like 30 seconds to a minute has been fully focused, you know, Marines, Ghosts, Swords, Vikings, dealing with these Broodlords. This army is not fantastic against Mass Bane Ling.
It's really not. Meanwhile, I feel like now is not the time to drone RagnaroK. He makes 12 more drones, so he's up to 103 workers right now. But you know what? He can do whatever the hell he wants at this point. The Baileys are rolling on in. The planetaries are going to be going down one after the other to all the mass Bailey.
That's right, and we had 30 more Banes being morphed in there. There's still 45 left as Bunny comes on the creep, and he is greeted with a tidal wave of rolling green balls, and the SCP's tanking for the Marines. But yeah, I gotta say, great moves by our Zerg player.
Yeah, exactly. He was able to force Bunny to kind of dance to his music in a way, and he didn't know what the hell he was dancing to until it was too late. It was yeah, RagnaroK, he just completely cleans up that counterattack.
It's like the perfect analogy, lad. It's like RagnaroK is dubstep, Bunny is like a 35-year-old man who's not fully like disassociated from the local happening, but
yeah,
they don't like the dubstep.
At a certain moment, as he's breaking it down on the dance floor, he looks up, he looks around, and he realizes he's surrounded by a bunch of Zoomers, and he's not where he should be.
It's a crisis. Like, those Cracklings destroy, decimate that tank. I gotta think of more like, is it synonyms for decimate and destroy? Annihilate.
Annihilate. Eviscerate.
Exacerbate.
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 Reciprocate. Resuscitate.
Resuscitate. It looks like these Lings are just resuscitating the SCVs. The game is now G-rated. But yeah, Bunny, man, he's been torn apart. The good news for him is that the Brood threat is gone. And at that moment, RagnaroK can't really invest in another one. He's still in a very commanding position, RagnaroK, but he's reverted back into Lingbane Hydra, and even though this is a lower tier army, lower tech, it's actually very effective against Thor Ghost.
Oh, it really is, especially when we have these infestors shocking in from behind. What's the plan here? We got options. We can neural parasite the tanks and the Thors. Oh my god, the turret's gonna finish, it's gonna finish!
Oh no, and the investors tank for the Banes, but he's gonna jump in, and Bunny might actually hold here.
Yeah,
like, wow.
Oh my god, he threw the infestors away. The missiles are finished up just in time. Bunny is fighting back. He doesn't have a great economy. He's hurting. He doesn't have a bank. But you know what? He is fighting his heart out. He knows how close he is to winning that plane ticket, to going to the Lost Island, to going to Krefeld, and sleeping with Take.
And we see, like, just want to, for all you F2 Terrans out there, Bunny actually pressed F2 because those two Thors just outside that base, actually in the top left corner. So you two, Well, maybe not always using F2, but you two can use F2 to victory. But yeah, like Ragnarok's maxed out again. Bunny needs to be efficient, but just look at the base count between both players. And we got Lunkus now.
Yeah, let's go. It took 20 minutes, but Lunkers are finally here. It's been a long time coming. They're about to rock up. Pushing into this choke point is still going to be a difficult ask. Like, Bunny still has a great position here. He's going to be able to trade as efficiently as possible, but it doesn't matter how efficient you are, mate. It's still a numbers game.
Oh man, this is such a Zerg attack as he comes through this little choke point. Lurkers coming in, sieging up, and despite the kind of the brazen, like the boldness of Ragnarok, I think he's actually going to clean up and he's going to win this game, like, by the looks of it.
Let's go, mate. This is exactly what we all wanted. Maybe not in this fashion, maybe not like this, but we are going to be going to our ace match. We're going to be going to game number 5 here. We are going the distance. Liberators are coming out, and you know what? Nothing here shoots up, so Buddy on some hard copium right now. He's like, I still got lips. Let's go.
This is indeed some super hard copium light. As we see the libs, they're going to force the lurkers back. The Lings are just going to go to town. These SCVs, they're trying their best, but it doesn't look like they're trying hard enough.
There's only so much they can do. They were never paid for this. They were never made for this. The SCVs are going down. Oh my god, he's going for the CC as well. It is burning as we speak. GG gets called, and RagnaroK does it. He ties it up 2-2.
Light, we are going to game number 5. Oh man.
Let's go. Let's go. The ace match, right? That's exactly what we wanted. And especially from this game as well. It was a lot more standard. Sure, there was some hidden tech. Sure, there was some tech switches going on and all that stuff. But other than that, like, it was pretty straight up between these two players.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. That's the beauty of a map like 2000 Atmospheres, right? It's a very straight up map. Originally, it was thought to be a bit of a Zerg favored map because it was so wide and open, but it's also like a map that's a little bit harder to attack into, as we saw. It didn't really phase RagnaroK at all during that game, but it allows players to kind of express themselves and utilize play styles that I guess they can play to their strengths a bit more because it's safe, but it's also macro orientated. But you can have, as you see in that game, like in the previous game, roaches and pushes. So that it's a map that kind of lets players kind of cater towards their strengths, which normally tends towards good games.
Yeah, that was a beautiful game, mate. That was a beautiful game. Oh my god. Meanwhile, as we get into the ace match, I know it's a little bit late, but things have been popping up. I want to give a massive shout out to Mark BT in the chat. Thank you so much for resubscribing 18 months in a row. Thank you so much, Papi. We love you. We appreciate you. And so do these players here as we get into game 5, mate.
Game 5 indeed, and here he is, the Terran player playing for Team NV. Can he close out this series and secure a ticket to Germany to HomeStory Cup? It is Bunny.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Berlingrad ALE, we have the South Korean Zerg player himself representing Alpha X, going for the pool first. Let's go! It is RagnaroK.
Light.
Speak to me.
Berlingrad. RagnaroK. What are your expectations for this game?
I was gonna ask you, mate. Right, so we got a pool first here from our boy. We got options. We can mine the minerals. You know, we can hit across the map with Lings that much faster. No early gas. Bearing in mind, we have seen some early gas builds from RagnaroK already this series, but not here. Not this time.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it seems like spawning pool, then hatchery, then gas. Not a crazy kind of opening. Again, it does get the Lings out a little bit faster, which can be a bit more helpful for Zerg. But Bunny, he knows by now to scout with the SCV, be very kind of thorough with his Reaper as well. And just based off his barracks position, I'd say, like, call me crazy, like, we're going to have a factory in just a moment.
Man, you're insane, mate. You're
no, I'm calling it. You can cancel. You can cancel my casting career if it's not. But again, like, despite like the SCV kind of confirming the Lings, like, RagnaroK was so good at just kind of like pushing it away, and Bunny doesn't actually know if there's a roach run on the way or not.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the Reaper is looking to intercept these 2 Lings, but the 4 Lings are slipping on in. So I love the mind games here by RagnaroK, pulling away the attention of that Reaper. In the end, the Lings don't commit though, and Bunny has handled this opener very well.
Yes, he certainly has indeed, forcing the Lings away.
Oh.
A bunker on the high ground. Now, this is interesting. Like, would this be a bit of Game 5 nerves? Or not nerves, but,
I mean,
precautions?
it's one of those things where you see a pull first, it could definitely be roaches. The Reaper wants to try and get it. Oh, no! Oh, doesn't make it into the natural base. Not yet. He is playing blind right now. He doesn't know what kind of tech there is in the main base, whether gas continues to be mined, so he had to play it safe. He had to go for the bunker.
Yeah, and it's some people might think it's not the biggest investment. You can just salvage it. Get 75 minerals back, 75%. But as this Reaper comes into scout and he confirms nothing really going on, not even going to see Ling speed on the way. Wow, Roach Ravager light.
I mean, to be fair, RagnaroK specifically was waiting until the Reaper left before he got Ling speed. Like, he did have more than 100 gas at the time. So it looks like, again, mind games. And because of that Bunny, he still hasn't even salvaged his bunker, Like, it's still a little bit sus. The Roach Warren could be in the natural base, but the Hellion somehow slips in. He confirms there is no Roach Warren.
Yeah, good to get that confirmation. Gotta say though, it kind of makes sense, right? Being the final game in the series, like you'd expect RagnaroK to throw something out, just a little bit off key, but he did hit a very powerful Roach Ravager timing on this map earlier, against, was it Percival? Was that Armani?
That was Armani.
Armani, man, my brain is fried. I'm sorry. But yeah, no, it looks like pretty standard. Seeing the Marines and the 3rd CC. Yeah, we've got a stand opener so far.
Yeah, so far, like a standard transition, I should say, from RagnaroK and Bunny. He was playing a little bit in the dark, but he was able to figure out what was going on and adapt himself. I'm really curious if RagnaroK is going to do anything special, though, with this Lair. Lair is going to finish up. He takes all 4 of his gases. Oh, there's the spire. Let's go. That's what I was waiting for.
Oh, wow. Yeah, indeed. We do have a spire on the way as extra gas is being taken. The main is for safety. Something I've just realized is RagnaroK actually has the Diva announcer. So I don't know what to think of that, but I guess he's doing quite well with it. So, but this Viking is going to be quite annoying, and RagnaroK will want to kind of hopefully deal with that. But look at this push coming out.
Yeah, here we go. We do see a Hellbat push coming out here for Bunny. RagnaroK does see the medevac. He does now know what's going on. He is morphing in 7 Banelings right now at once. But drones are falling here at the 3rd. He's completely cut off from it.
Yeah, as we see now that the 3rd base, there's not many drones here, and this might have Bunny's brain ticking a little bit, like trying to figure out what's going on. And actually, you see, he's just gonna back up. Just back off. And actually, this works in RagnaroK's favor, but maybe he's just consolidating to push again, like.
We'll see. I mean, he does bring in a couple more Hellbats. He looks to try and push in towards his 3rd base. Again, there are plenty of Banelings. More Banelings are being morphed in as well. Nice pre-split, but hasn't been able to do too much else here. Did get 4 drone kills, but only 4. Now the mutas are on the way.
Mutalist indeed, light. And we're going to see, like, he's still just kind of patrolling, looking at some creep. And he thought, I'm going 3cc. The worst thing that could happen for me is to lose my ground force and kind of, get hit by a counterattack. It's the final game in the series. I'm just going to play passively. My opponent doesn't have any drones. And, yeah, as you see, Barry's going to raise that depot, but Light, how are these mutas going to affect the dynamic of this matchup?
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, Bunny's already turning around and going back home, so he will have Marines to help defend, but he isn't set up for this. He's not really anticipating this at all. Workers can definitely be falling here as the mutas are trying to head towards that natural.
Oh, indeed. 4th CC going to get slowed, and there's not many mutas, but have they overextended? No, they're going to be able to get out of the way here, but now Bunny knows what's up. He can adjust his game plan accordingly, but RagnaroK, he gets 3cc. I feel like you need to get more damage and just 3 SCVs so far.
I completely agree. So far, like, he did a great job at hiding the muta switch. It's beautiful, and Bunny had no idea that it was coming. He just happened to have all his Marines at home anyway, exactly where he needed them. And RagnaroK was being really ambitious, like trying to thread the needle and go through all the bases instead of like skirting around and getting into a mineral line. Yeah, interesting how he would kind of approach that.
Yeah, we see now, it's not over yet. He is going to be, adding more mutalisks in, doubling down on them. He's getting attack upgrade too, and again, triangle thirds. There's a lot of ground that Bunny has to cover, but just the thing is, RagnaroK's making a bunch of drones now. His army still is a little bit small. The creep spread's not fantastic, as we saw that earlier push clean up, but I feel like this next push from Bunny is really going to tip the scales in one way or another here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the mutas haven't really been able to do too much. We do have a decent amount of Ling Bane here, but oh, yes, be careful not to fight off of creep. Widow Mines are slowly encroaching as well. Creep spread is being pushed all the way back, and Bunny is here.
Bunny is here indeed, and this angle, like, this is such a killer angle. There's destructible debris on both sides, but RagnaroK's only got one kind of point of entry, and this Widow Mine's holding. Like, this is a tough hold for Azerto, honestly.
Oh, exactly. A couple of Banelings are going to roll on in. Not a big commitment here from RagnaroK. He still has plenty more in the chamber. He's expanding behind this as well, trying to get his 5th base up and running. Meanwhile, Bunny, is actually going to be able to rotate around and could force a denial here. Does scan, does confirm the base.
Yeah, he split his forces up here. There's buying time for RagnaroK, and it looks like he's going to be able to clean up. The mutas really excel when there's not as many units, but this attack actually off creep, I think RagnaroK may have overextended, and that cancellation, I think he thinks too.
Yeah, 100%, man. I don't think he really anticipated the entire army to rotate around. I thought he was only a small group. Meanwhile, oh my god, one Woodmine already going out, connecting with those mutas, and RagnaroK now stuck on these 4 bases. He's trying to find these reinforcements. He's trying to pick off whatever he can, but he just can't.
Yeah, that's right. And look at the creep spread line. It's almost non-existent now. There's Marines, there's Widow Mines on the door. And just again, Bunny targeting this one kind of corridor to push into. What does RagnaroK do? Is he going to go for a counterattack and hold it home with Banes? But can he afford to give up this triangular 3rd base?
That's a good question. I mean, he does force Bunny to respond here. Bunny turns around with everything he has. Oh, he catches a couple of these morphing and Banelings though, and he will be able to catch in the Widow Mines.
Oh! Good connections. Taking out the Widow Mine's actually not great, but good crisis management because they're going to die anyway. Whoop. RagnaroK has to be careful. There's a lot of Marines in the field still, and at this point of the game, even though it's on 86 drones, I feel like he can't really afford to kind of bleed units.
Yeah, I don't think he can either. He's going for another bit of a run back here, but there's a planetary waiting for him. There's reinforcements as well. The Lings don't really achieve much of anything at all, and now there's nothing stopping Bunny from pushing out across the map once again. RagnaroK, he's trying to get another 5th base up and running. He's expanding towards the southern side, and there is more creep here, so it's a little bit more defensible. But oh god, if Bunny pushes in towards that 4th again, I don't know if Rag can hold.
Yeah, no, you see he's targeting creep, needs to spread it in this direction. 2-2 about to finish up for Bunny, as we see again targeting this top angle. He has got forces at the bottom as well. Might be in a bit of dire straits, but seeing the huge commitment of mutas and Lings and Banes, he's going to lift up, back off, and this triangle 3rd again is going to come under threat.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. We're trading a base for a base here as RagnaroK heads towards the 3rd base. Immediately, Bunny, he just evacuates. Widow Mine shots are going to be going off. The wall is a wall, but RagnaroK can bust in.
Can bust in indeed. There's a Thor standing strong, but Thors need to be supported as we see that 3rd base from RagnaroK. Sorry, the 4th base from RagnaroK going down, but this is the thing. Like, he's on top of the production. What does Bunny do here, like?
Yeah, exactly. Again, Bunny is all in across the map. He has to try and end the game. He does bust on into the natural base. Oh my god, he's gonna go for the Spire.
He is indeed, and the Spire is gonna get taken out. Some really good positioning from Bunny back at home, having to deal with those Lings, but now, like, how does RagnaroK deal with these units? Where's his mutas?
I don't know, mate. The Banelings are going to try and roll on in. The splits are looking pretty good. The Banelings end up getting pretty good connections, though, and there are only a handful of Marines left. The mutas finally come in to clean everything up, and after all said and done, RagnaroK just lost 3 bases, and he, what did he do for that? Ooh.
Yeah, what did he do indeed? As the mutas are going to clean up, and the game looks to kind of stabilize, not only like worker-wise, but supply-wise as well. RagnaroK may be trailing just a little bit, but if you just look at the state of of RagnaroK's bases. He's been ravaged. You know, Bunny's got a 4th base secured. RagnaroK's also got, well, technically he's mining on just 2.5 bases really, but he does have a good muta ball and he needs to get some damage done because he won't be able to sustain heading later into this game on this economy.
Exactly. Like, even though after all said and done, the supplies are looking pretty similar, like, Bunny did deal more damage to his production, to RagnaroK's infrastructure overall. He's trying to rebuild his bases. He's trying to rebuild his spire as well in his main base so he can keep making mutas. But Bunny's production wasn't really hindered that much at all. Like, he just keeps on pumping out. Now he's ahead in supply.
Yeah, and that's just it. That's the you know, the power of 3CC. It's not just like getting out SCVs really quickly. It's that you sustain for such a long time. You know, mules and having a really strong economy. As that Widow Mine again is going to get a half reasonable connection, but again, like, we have no creep spread in this area, and Bunny sees that.
Yeah, he sees that and he wants it, mate. He wants it so bad. +3 is on the way as well behind this, so he's not letting up on his upgrades whatsoever. I'm still taking a little bit of time to regroup and reinforce, but again, like, he's basically maxed at this point, and RagnaroK is still struggling to rebuild what he had just lost. Lingbane Muta, back to a decent count. What he has to do right now is try and slow this down, try and go for a counter attack, try and stop Bunny from pushing out.
Yeah, that's right. I like the choice to go Burrow here, and RagnaroK, you know, even though his economy is not fantastic, he does have, you know, the ability. He does have creep. He can use creep. He just needs to take a good engagement and kind of snowball to give himself some breathing room to slow things down, as you said. But at the moment, I'd still give advantage Bunny in this situation, especially with this base at the bottom left being pressured.
Yeah, again, there's no creep here supporting this base whatsoever. We did see that RagnaroK was going to try and go for a bit of a run by, but he was intercepted. Lings try to push on in, and there are a lot of banelings, but you don't want to fight off creep.
Indeed, especially against the spread that Bunny has, but it looks like RagnaroK may be forced to. He can't really afford to get the space up. Bane's coming in, a strong connection, but actually that's quite a lot of Ling Bane crashing through, and this bio is quite bruised, lad.
Oh, it really is. It looks like it may just be enough to deal with the initial force here. The reinforcements are not going to get here in time. RagnaroK forces this all the way back.
Okay.
Oh my
he
god.
actually is, and it's not stopping there. Bunny needs to consolidate. He needs to find a line to hold, maybe some Widow Mines or a Thor to get behind. But RagnaroK, he's what great moves from him.
Yeah, exactly. He's able to get into the middle line as well. Can he get some workers here? Widow Mines are borrowing. Mules are just thrown down in the face of this army. Bunny doesn't care. He knows that he is safe and sound here. All said and done, he loses 2 SCVs.
Yeah, and then we go finally stabilizing. We look back at home, RagnaroK, he's got the 2 bases that were building like earlier, beforehand. They're now finished, and a couple of Widow Mines, one Widow Mine actually just at the top to stop that base from building. But if we look at the game, RagnaroK's still only on lair tech.
I didn't want to point it out, but yes. Oh my god, there's a couple more Widow Mine shits. Widow Mines do connect there with those mutas, and exactly, that's what I was worried about. We have +3 attack. We don't have +3 armor yet, but there's no way to get 3-3 here for RagnaroK. He is stuck on lair tech. He does not have a hive. He is stuck with Lingbane Muta, and Lingbane Muta is great and all, but over time, it can fall off, especially if you don't have your upgrades.
Yeah, 100%. That's the risk you take when you take this muta style, is you often delay your hive, and sometimes in a scrappy situation you can't afford to kind of go up to there. But we see, you know, is RagnaroK, once he maxes out, I'd like to see him start that hive and work more into the game. His queen count's been ravaged. He's only got 3 queens left that he needs for injects, so his creep spread is still a bit weak, but Burrow Banes are now on the field line. It's Burrow versus Burrow.
Oh my god, who's going to come out on top? Widow Mine shots are going to go up. Decent connections there. Also a little bit of friendly fire. Banelings are rolling on in. Is this going to be enough? Once again, crashing in with the fire, but there's so many Marines behind this.
Yeah, there is too, but a lot of them getting cleaned up, and not much micro actually from Bunny. Surprisingly, this muta ball, as long as it stays, like, even if it's bruised, as long as it stays alive and can regen, this is such a scary force for our Terran player to deal with.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! Oh! The Baileys connect! The burrowed mines are insane! Meanwhile, it looks like Bunny wants to keep on going, but he may be pulled back here. The mutas go for a massive counterattack.
Yeah, in the main too, and like this is the production. Like Bunny,
Yeah.
he can't afford to lose this. Trying to buy time, pull the libs away, but RagnaroK, is he gonna go for the SCVs now too? This is so dicey for Bunny.
Yeah, the Banelings are trying to roll on in. Thor shots are going off left and right. Banelings end up connecting with Marines. Meanwhile, the Mutas, they try to chase us down. Eventually they will. As all this has been happening, RagnaroK did end up losing a base, but he's breaking on through. The Mutas.
Yeah, and Bunny's like his base, he's been compromised. His units kind of scrambling all over the place. Commands are getting cancelled. This turret may go down. Yes, it does. And Marines stimming desperately to deal with the Mutila's threat. But
Marines.
there's not enough Marines, and those Marauders, mate, they're waddling back.
The Marauders, they can't shoot up. They just have to just flop on their backs and try their best, but they can't do it. They cannot attack these Mutas. Meanwhile, we see a scan towards the north. Lings are breaking on in. Bunny, he's broke, mate. He just doesn't have the worker count. He doesn't have the economy. He has two bases, but he just can't produce.
Yeah, and that's just the thing, right? Like, and we just see now Bunny, like his +3 armor's actually wasn't started either. It's just about to finish up, so that could have played quite a role in the tail of this game too. But RagnaroK, putting this pressure on, keeping Bunny occupied, hitting multiple places, it allows him to secure yet another base and mine up and just kind of just head into a solid position.
Oh my god. A very solid position. He takes a couple Widowmine shots to the face. One more Widowmine is all he needed. Meanwhile, ooh, a decent amount of Mutas are being picked off. But what about the Lings on the ground here? Do we have enough here for Bunny? Can he do it? Can he somehow bring himself back?
Yeah, and here we go. So supply's not looking too bad. He's actually slightly up in army despite being down in workers, and RagnaroK back up to over that 80 worker count. The one kind of saving grace I guess Bunny has is the creep spread still is very, very weak on this top side where two of the fresh bases are mining. But this army, if you look at it from Bunny, it's not the most potent. There's only 5 Widow Mines and there's only really 1 here at this location, but it looks like he just wants to secure the base and expand up here. But is this the right move, Light?
Yeah, I was really worried that RagnaroK was going to go for a counterattack here towards the planetary, but it looks like he's converging everything towards the top right. The Mutas coming in from behind, the Ling Bane as well.
Yeah, and that's actually an orbital up the top too, so he's going to need to dedicate some firepower to keep it safe. But really cute Banes on the ramp by RagnaroK as these Mutas come in, snipe a couple turrets, and this is just pain. This is the worst in Terran, these Mutas, man.
Yeah, Bunny, he just can't keep up with the Mutas. Like, the Marines aren't the most mobile thing, and Reinforcements is going to try and clean this up. As this is happening, the Ling Bane army, RagnaroK, he is maxed out. He's ready to go.
Yes, indeed. He jumps in, and Bunny's been spread thin. There's some Widowmine, some wonderful shots, really. Wow, and that will actually turn the tide, Light.
Oh my god, the most perfect, beautiful Widowmine connections in the world there for Bunny. He does hold on. The Muta Cloud is still a problem, I must say. But that probably went as well as it could have for Bunny, let's be real.
Yeah, you'd have to say for sure, but we kind of see now, the Mutas, the main base of Bunny has been left ravaged. There's no wall, there's buildings without add-ons, there's buildings that have been damaged, and how does he kind of solidify, I guess, his presence in this game, as we see a push again into this choke point. Really hard for RagnaroK to wrap around, but RagnaroK's just going to counterattack.
Yeah, I like this. Why not, right? Like, the Muta Cloud is unstoppable at this point. The reinforcements can't do anything about it. Sure, RagnaroK is going to lose the base. This will happen, but the Muta Cloud doesn't care. He's take my base. I'll take your production.
Exactly, and bases can be rebuilt. Production, it's not so easy. It's so much you have to invest, and as we see Bunny coming back to help deal with, he's actually borrowed some Blinks instead of Banelings above the natural in case then. But every time that RagnaroK dips in, the production gets meeker and meeker.
Yeah, it really does, and that's going to cripple Bunny in the long run. And meanwhile, the bases go down, and I'm a little bit surprised. 21 drones went down as well. I assumed that RagnaroK was going to evacuate, but he didn't, so that is honestly a pretty decent loss.
Yeah, that's quite a mix-up, a problem indeed. And I like how Bunny leaves this little Widow Mine again, just it's like a calling card, when there's a murder and the murderer leaves like a card or something, and it's gonna actually murder even more.
Oh my god, and he gets 20 kills as well. These Widow Mines have been insane here for Bunny. Suddenly Bunny takes the supply lead, by the way. So even though his production is in shambles right now, there's almost no add-ons going on, like, he's still keeping up, he's still fighting his goddamn heart out.
Yeah, that he is, and that's another advantage that Bunny is kind of like started to get now is he's kind of, you know, whoop, Banes to get pushed back, but a lot of the forces here of RagnaroK, they've been traded into getting rid of the economy, getting rid of infrastructure. Bunny's just been kind of playing cleanup duty as the top base gets attacked again, just get deflected, and his army is huge, like 140 supply worth.
Yeah, it's massive, mate. I will say that a big way for RagnaroK to deal with this is with borrowed mines. Thankfully, though, Bunny has been very vigilant with his scans. He's well aware of the potential of those mines. And soon, here we go. His reinforcements are coming on in. Everything is converging towards the bottom left. RagnaroK goes for another run by, though.
Yeah, we got another base getting taken out. It's such a large army, however, for Bunny, and we have to keep in mind, like, he's still on 2-2, so this is actually, it's possible for Bunny.
It's so weird to see a late game scenario where the Lings don't have Adrenal and they're just not doing what they need to do. The Lings almost do nothing here against the Marines, and it looks like he's going to be able to take down the bottom left.
Yeah, and you see RagnaroK, he has to send these drones home. He can't afford to lose these ones. He diverts attention to the right-hand side with his Widow Mines and turrets set up. How the hit's going to be, it doesn't have to be wonderful, just efficient enough. It looks like it can.
Widow Mines do.
His munis just keep getting bruised, man.
Yeah. The shots keep on going. Meanwhile, one base falls, so will another, and these are the most important bases here for RagnaroK. We do see, again, we trade a base for a base here, but RagnaroK is losing 2 of them, and Bunny can just keep on going. A lot of banelings are being morphed in, but is it going to be enough? Bunny actually turns around.
Yeah, and actually 31 drones going down as well. The worker count's so little, but just the supply now is starting to tell the story. Look at all those Marines. Like, there's a huge difference, but Marines are very fragile, especially against Banes. But against 2-2 Banes,
not so much.
I don't know. I'm starting to think Bunny is... I'm starting to think he's going to take this.
Yeah. There was a moment there for RagnaroK, but like, again, we were speaking about it earlier. He never got the Hive. He never got 3-3. He never got Adrenal. Like, his army just doesn't scale anywhere near as well. He's been struggling. Widow Mine shots go off. More Lings are being bleeded out, and RagnaroK cannot afford to do this. Somehow, some way, Bunny is maxed.
Bunny is maxed indeed. Can you believe it? He probably thought he would have been out of this. He's building add-ons to the main, and like, again, he returns to his favorite old choke point to push into. RagnaroK can buy time, he can kill workers, take out production, but you need to be able to kill this army, man, because that's what matters in the end.
Dude, Bunny is turning around with a lot of his Marines, though. So again, he does recognize the threat of these mutas. So he kills the base, he turns around, he has just crippled the economy of RagnaroK. RagnaroK has 0 mining right now. Actually, 0 mining.
0 mining indeed. He's got 28 workers. Might as well add those to the army hockey.
Yeah, the drones have nothing to do. They actually have nothing to do.
There's a base in the top right that they can move to, but no, they get caught out of position. But
the drones get caught out. The Great Migration gets intercepted. As you were saying, there is a ninja base towards the top right. Meanwhile, at the same time, mutas are diving on in. How many mutas in total do we have? We have 20 mutas. That's okay, I guess, but I just realized these mutas only have +1 air attack. They don't even have 2-2. Oh my god.
Oh, wow, that'd actually be quite huge in the scope of things like this. The mutas, it looks like they're finally going to get surrounded. They're going to try and back away, but not great given the situation. And RagnaroK, he's making 2 overlords, even though he's got I cancel 1. Okay.
Look, lots going on right now for RagnaroK. He is stuck here in the southern point of the map. Meanwhile, we do have a decent amount of Ling Bane set up. He is setting himself up to defend this last bastion of hope, his last mining base. But the mutas, there's no way out. Oh, he's going to try. He makes a break for it. Oh no!
No, the mutas are stuck, like, and you can kind of see what he's trying to go for. He's trying to snipe all the orbitals, right? So he can't scan the burrowed Banes. But Bunny has been, he's on it, mate. He's got a full surround here. Thor's even waiting too.
Oh god!
RagnaroK just can't afford to sit here.
Oh no, RagnaroK, please! Oh, that's it, mate. All the mutas go down. Meanwhile, it looks like Lings is gonna try and meet up with him. One of the bases of RagnaroK has now been taken. The final mutas get picked off. GG gets called, and Bunny brings it back from the brink of death. He qualifies for HomeStory Cup 20.
Oh my gosh, and what a game to qualify off the back of. Like, that was insane. Just and we thought for it was like 120 supply to 160, 170 or so, and it looked really bad for Bunny. But his main getting ravaged by mutas, he did it. He managed to do it.
I can't believe it, man. I can't believe it. I mean, you know, upgrades, let's be real, the upgrades of Bunny did carry him quite a bit. You know, that massive disparity between the skills of just the overall army units that they had at their disposal. Not just that though, like, let's be honest, the Widowmines, there were so many juicy Widowmine connections there. I do feel like RagnaroK was being a little bit too flippant with his army control and with his Ling movement. Like, we saw so many juicy Widowmine connections getting so efficient, and that adds up over time. Not just that, we also have to praise Bunny because the creep spread was almost non-existent that game. Like, there was very little creep spread. Not because RagnaroK was failing to spread his creep, which was part of it, but also Bunny was just so on top of his pushes and cleaning all that up and focusing down the queens.
Yeah, focusing down the queens especially, and at a point when the game gets that scrappy, you kind of need all hands on deck kind of injecting and making sure that you can get enough lava. But as you said, I do agree. I think RagnaroK was a little bit flippant with his army. He should have recognized when he was in that lead that how can I forward this lead? You know, getting your hive or getting your Mutalisk upgrades. But no, it seemed like he was kind of stuck in a bit of tunnel vision, and in the end, it kind of cost him the game, really.
It really did. It really did. GG, well played to Bunny for making it through. It wasn't an easy road. It wasn't an easy series, especially against RagnaroK. RagnaroK, one of the most wild Zerg player in all of South Korea. It went all the way to the ace match. But congratulations to Bunny. And yeah, he's gonna be enjoying himself over in HomeStory Cup in Germany, in Krefeld.
Yeah, 100%, and very well, you know, well deserved after the persistence just to kind of stay in that game. And even when your main is compromised like that, and you know you're losing your add-ons, you're losing buildings, like it becomes so hard to find the correct kind of decision making. And he managed to not only like to defend his main, obviously, but he also managed to put counter pressure on to stop RagnaroK from getting too like out of control. So really impressive. It's the little things that you kind of the nuances you don't pick up in the heat of the moment. These players, they're bred to do that. They've had it drilled into them, you know, over the course of many ladder games and tournaments. So really well played. And unfortunately for RagnaroK, I want to say he's not out of the tournament yet. There still is the lower bracket, but he's going up against Classic.
Ooh, he is. Best of luck to RagnaroK in that lower bracket match. Meanwhile, it looks as if we have another series before us. We have the second qualifying match. I think Rotterdam has been covering this while we've been covering the Rag Bunny series. So we are jumping in mid-series. Predictions will not be available for this because, again, it is mid-series. But we have a PvP before us.